Hey folks, I want to tell you some more about saddles, fitting, and this sort of thing. Fitting you is what's the most important thing. It's important you understand, as I'm standing here, you will see me on my heels, my toes are up and my heels are down. Where am I going? I'm going backward. But if I'm on my toes, where am I going? Forward. So when you're riding, you want to ride heels down, toes up. This puts you back in the saddle. Don't ride with just your toes or balls of your foot. That puts you forward in a saddle. So now, let's look at another thing. When you're sitting too far forward, guess what, folks? You're putting pressure upon your animal's spine. Too far back, you're putting pressure upon the animal's spine. The square you set in the saddle, the more straight you set in the saddle, is what's best for the animal. Now, we have a lot of family members, but we've only got the one saddle. So let's just say that you've got a 17-inch saddle and your daughter wants to ride some. So you've got a 17-inch saddle and your daughter weighs 100 pounds, 125 pounds. A 17-inch is going to make her sit too far back in the saddle. She's going to be uncomfortable, but folks, your mule is going to be uncomfortable because you're putting most of your pressure here and you're pushing down on your stirrups. So what I like to see folks do is take what's called bucking rolls. These bucking rolls attach here on each side, and I'm going to show you how to attach them. And now you can go from a 17-inch saddle down to a 15 or even a 16-inch saddle, depending on how you adjust them. So this is leather. When you want to shape leather, it's imperative that you wet it. So I'm going to take the bucking rolls and I'm going to put them down in some water like this. You can see they're floating around in there now and they're getting wet. So while they're getting wet, I'm going to take my handy dandy DeWalt drill and I'm going to remove this screw here. Screw and washer together. Okay, now once I do that, then I'm going to go over here to this other side. Kind of got in there kind of tight. There we go. Screw and washer together, take it right out. Then you turn this over to here, and you do the same thing on the other side. Screw, and then you take the washer out, like that. Now, once you've done that, you have your bucking rolls that have been in the water and that are wet. And you can see now they can move a lot easier. Anytime you're shaping leather, you always wet it, and then you can shape it. So now I take my strings, and I take them loose. Make sure my bucking roll is set up here, and I take my screw and my washer. And I attach the bucking roll right to that same hole. I also like to use a little bit of silicone on them. But there you go, that's attached into there. Notice how it's now starting to shape around the leather on each side. Look at this. See, this is wet now, so it's starting to follow the shape all the way around. And then you take it to the other side. Take your washer and your screw, put them through your hole. And attach them there, and then turn this around, move your bucking roll so that it follows the shape, and pull your strap in the middle. You see there's a strap that holds the two together. Make sure it sits nice and flat and straight all the way across. Put it back through the D-ring here. Come back through the D-ring here. Pull this up nice and tight. You see how this is starting to shape here? You may have to do this a couple times to get shape. But now you can take and shape the saddle, and now you've got a smaller saddle in your seat, down to a 16 or maybe even a 15, depending on there again. Your saddle fit is always, always, always your thigh size, not your rump size. So this right here, folks, a set of bucking rows. You can multi-purpose your saddle now. Once I take that, I pull this through and I can tighten.